What's up, everybody? We're back at the KSL. It is time to start our second best of 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one, too. Jadong going up against Stork, 2 old rivals, still playing well enough to be in all the leagues.
That's right. Stork is a player who really had some of the most innovative builds we ever saw in Starcraft 1. Jadong, there's something about this guy. He has that X factor, you know? His charisma comes through. He's really passionate. He wants to win. He's jubilant when he's victorious. Is that a word, jubilant, right?
No.
Is it a bit of a no man's land? I'm not sure. When he loses, he's obviously very, very sad. And so people really root for him. What, Tom, you just talk. Go ahead.
When he loses, he's really, really sad. So
When
people
he wins,
just root for him.
when he wins, he's happy.
They go like this,
When
they
he
go,
loses,
Jadong!
I'm off to a good start here.
Wow.
The problem, though, for Stork right now is that he's not playing as well as he used to. I mean, this guy used to easy mode be a finalist. I mean, this guy was incredible.
Yes, he was talked about amongst, Bisu and Flash and Jadong, the best ever of their respective races.
Yes.
So obviously Stork has to be pretty good. He's been making it into most of the leagues. Hasn't been doing as well. I think he's on a bit of a revival right now. But let's not forget as well, he just had a child. He just got married, all this stuff, right? So that stuff can take a bit of a toll for a bit when you get used to that.
Yeah, for sure. We got to see, though, how Jadong's going to do. Jadong, there's been periods where it looks like he's back to his former self, sometimes even better than his former self.
Let's not forget, to get to the finals of Season 1, he 4-0'd Rain in the round of 4.
So crazy. And then last Fordham, which was also like, what?
Yeah.
But he was looking to continue moving on.
Thing is, I feel like Jadong can beat basically everyone in the tournament except Last. And Last, if he beats Stork, is who he has to play against.
Quick video, guys, then we're going to hop into this match. We're going to bring out our 2 players now. Here's Jadong coming out first.
Yes,
the greatest Zerg of all time.
Truly he is. This is a player that everyone respects, and he deserves it.
By the way, he almost became the world champion in StarCraft 2. People forget about that. We don't talk about that enough. They just, by the way, also Stork competed in several GSLs. He was actually also a great player.
Yes. While being the coach of Samsung Con. So.
Yeah. So these guys are just gods of gods.
Yeah, it's wild what they have accomplished in their careers, and the fact that they're back now and Jadong has made it to a finals already again. And all this amongst a bit of wrist trouble as well. Also, of course, the looming military transition that both these guys, eventually do have to go through.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to be pretty crude here and say I actually think this is going to be a 3-0 or a 3-1 here with Jadong winning.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I do want to hold my breath just a little bit and see if Stork can put up a good fight, because he has been playing much better recently. There was like a very down swing for him like last year where he was not even qualifying for leagues that he was trying to qualify for. But if you look at his practice games recently, he's looking a lot better right now.
Yeah,
he's looking like a player that, he's not quite one of the top Protoss, but he's certainly good enough to be here. He played really well during the qualifiers.
I think we got to look at Stork and think every time he's back and he's playing, it's an opportunity for redemption. He can come back and prove himself. StarCraft Remastered is going to be around forever.
You see that? They played 15 best of 5s.
Oh, I didn't actually read the graphic.
Oh,
Is that
yeah.
what it said?
It was super sick. Like, apparently, Stork beats Jaedong most of the time when it's best of 1. And when it's best of 5, Jaedong is 11-4 in best of 5s against Stork.
How funny.
I believe that's what that graphic said. I guess it could be map score, but not entirely sure. Anyways.
We're going to go into game number 1, guys. This is a best of 5. Jaedong versus Stork. Let's go.
Top left, we have the tyrant himself, Jaedong. Bottom right, what is it? The admiral of no mistakes. Do you remember his old nickname?
No, when I started casting out here, I thought some of these nicknames I'm just never going to remember or say because they don't translate well into English.
I'm going to actually look it up because it's actually a hilarious nickname because it does not translate well at all. Anyways, these guys, again, legendary figures, really hoping Stork can put something out there. The thing is, I think Stork versus last would be closer, maybe, than Jaedong versus last, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because so far, last in KSL is 7-0 against Jaedong, which is a pretty big deal. Okay, he was called... His nickname was the Commander-in-Chief of No Weak Points.
Wow.
Except for his nickname.
That sounds like a superhero that wears his underwear on the outside of his normal pants.
Captain Underpants is fantastic,
yes.
Okay? So just an overpull over here, very safe stuff. But yeah, a lot of interesting nicknames. Jaedong, actually, it's one of the more interesting nickname switches that happened to him. Originally, he was known as the Legend Killer because Jaedong would sometimes lose to up-and-comers and stuff at the beginning of his career, but every time you put him against someone that was considered legend, he would wreck them. And it was this really weird thing. But the thing is, after a while, Jaedong became so much better than everyone that you couldn't call him Legend Killer because he would have to kill himself because he was now the legend.
Yeah, it was a period where he was, oh, good denial. He managed to take out so many players that you almost have to start to change the IDs themselves, right? Or the nicknames themselves, because we can't just keep being like, oh, he's a legend killer. It's like, he's actually the best. So, yeah,
Yeah, he kills people lesser than him.
Yeah.
With lesser legendary things about them. But yeah, he's generally known as the Tyrant now. It's kind of the one that's stuck over the long term. He's so brutal in his games. Like, anyone that wants to really see Jaedong at full strength, go watch Jaedong versus Rain, round of 4, KSL Season 1.
Oh, my God.
He just bashes Rain. Even when Rain gets into a good position one game, Jaedong was like, give me that, and wins the
Rain's
game.
face off and wore it out of the studio.
Yeah. Luckily, he gave it back afterwards, and Korea is known for great plastic surgeons, so no problem.
No problems at all there. So everything's okay. So that cannon has finished up here.
Yeah, no weak point there. The Commander-in-Chief staying true to his name.
So now we have the probe continuing to scout around. Now, as we always have to mention here in PvZ, there is a chance that the Zerg wants to all in. There's a chance that you want to try to bust down the entrance. Maybe they don't have enough cannons. And that's why it's so important the probe stays alive here. A lot of times if you mess up and that probe dies, they will immediately throw down a Hydralisk Den. But so far, no mistakes here, as expected here, from Stork. And he's going to keep moving around and trying to check and make sure he has the confirmation that the Zerg is going to play a normal game.
As you say, it's just so important to kind of see what's coming. Overbuilding cannons, underbuilding cannons. These are two of the biggest problems that Protoss players face.
Right.
It doesn't sound like such a big problem, but I promise you it is.
It's a huge problem. The Protoss, when they go cannon first, they don't have any control over the map. And so, the Zerg can expand freely, which requires the Protoss to tech heavily and produce probes heavily so that you can come up with some kind of plan to match them. But if you tech too heavily and go econ too heavily and you just don't have the cannons and they do rush you, you're dead. That's it.
Well, right now, Stork is getting that Stargate to get a Corsair, get over there, scout what's going on. Of course, he's done a great job with this probe, keeping it alive. Jaedong getting ready for his Spire. Very normal play coming out of both sides as of right now.
Right.
Generally what we will see from here is 4 Scourge into like a 5 or a 6 hatchery Hydralisk play from Jaedong. But, of course, you always can, as you chase the probe out, choose to go into Mutalisks if you like. Something that Zergs have been mixing in a decent amount lately.
There's the +1 attack upgrades here. There's also a lot of different things that Zergs do where they'll try to just kill the Forge off or the Gateway off or anything like that. But yeah, with the Spire opening here, we're seeing that Jaedong is going to go into a pretty standard macro-looking game so far. Now we have the Citadel coming down as well. I'm sorry, there was no air weapons being made, right, Artosis?
Oh, I did not notice that as of yet. I think not yet. But Jaedong immediately into 5 hatches, even before a Hydralisk den here. So really going for that macro play right now. Okay, he is getting the air weapons at this point. And actually going to go after an Overlord before scouting. What do you think about that? A lot of times we see Protosses make a beeline to the Zerg main base to scout instead of killing an Overlord first.
I don't know what to make of it. I was wondering about it the moment that we saw the Corsair hit that Overlord. It's weird. It's hard to say, like, if you're going to get all in, it's a problem. But I feel like maybe if you kill it off, you mess up some kind of a timing. I don't know.
Okay.
It's also possible that Stork wants to do something surprising. So he wants to get rid of the Overlords, and then he wants to do some kind of attack where, like, okay, this way you cannot scout me.
The only thing that makes me a little bit nervous is what if a Scourge catches him on his way up. But we see that doesn't occur. He's already got 3 Coursers out, and he's killed 2 Overlords. So, I mean, looking at this, I feel like Stork's in a fine position right now. I normally don't see the Corsairs kill 2 Overlords right off the bat.
We've got some more gateways coming down here now as well. So it's important for the Protoss to amass enough Corsairs, especially with that +1 attack upgrade, that you can begin to snipe Scourge. And the Scourge are actually the only way that you can scout here. But it's actually much easier to hide things from Scourge than it is from Overlords, for instance. Since the Scourge have some of the lowest vision in the entire game. I think the lowest vision, right?
I think they might, yeah. I think like a burrowed unit is technically less, but...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you could be right about that vision. Okay, so these Zealots obviously trading reasonably here in this tiny choke against Zerglings until that one gets surrounded. But Stork hitting this move out. He has that Zealot speed +1, I think, is almost done here.
Jaedong is... okay, now here come the DTs are going to come out now. Now, you got to be careful not to overextend here with these Zealots. Some of these Zergs just have enough Hydras you can't really pick a fight, but you could try to run up into the main with a DT, for instance.
But look at this. With just that group of Hydras, if he runs up into the third base with his Zealots, the Hydras will attack that. He can kill the Overlord and maybe get in a Dark Templar. We've seen that move actually a lot.
There's the Overlord ready for if the DT is going to come out.
Overlord's speed actually just finished as well, so Jaedong quite on top of what Stork's trying to pull off here. And it doesn't seem like he's going to get damage done, but the DT doesn't always do damage right off the bat. They're kind of used to when it's coming in, but later on, Stork might be able to find a way in.
Now he's going to come in here and try to do a little bit of damage. The Hydras are already coming back with these Zealots on the ground here. These Corsairs can do so much more damage. You know, the Hydras will prioritize the Zealots over that. So actually getting some really nice kills here is Stork.
Yeah, look at that. Killing off these Overlords as well. The drone drill here does mess up the AI, but he's still getting damage done. The DT waiting for its moment, still coming in again to kill off this Overlord. Oh my gosh, no detection up there right now.
DT coming in. And is he going to get any kills? Oh, another Overlord pops out just then. Now keep in mind, Protoss needs to keep producing heavily back here because a counterattack is a real possibility.
Can the DT come back up again? Yeah, it looks like it's going to. And he is producing heavily. Look at that. Even getting into his robotics facility to prepare for possible lurkers. Starting to get some of these drones as well. Finally, an Overlord comes out, but I feel like Stork has been successful so far.
It's really interesting watching this all go down because you can see that Jaedong is so good at making sure these Overlords pop out at every single hatchery. He actually has them spread really nicely.
Yeah,
There's no randomness on where the Overlords are made. Stork, though, he is absolutely looking a lot better, especially going into the mid-game here, than he's looked in a lot of other PvZs, especially against Jaedong. He's got up when he needs to get up. Templars are out with Psystorm. He does have observers on the way here. And he's about to have a 2-base powerhouse that can totally fight, what Jaedong's doing on the map.
Yeah, Jaedong is not doing anything out of the ordinary. He adds that 6th hatchery, and that is kind of the maximum that we ever see on 3 bases, but it will really let you produce a lot. Look at Stork, though. He's not missing a beat with his macro, adding on more gates. What does he have? Is he going up to like 8 gates?
Yeah, that's what you want to do. Get those 8 gates up, really power it. Zerg's been looking for a fight for a while. By the way, a lot of Overlords were killed off, enough to where I'm feeling pretty good about for Stork in this situation.
Yeah.
Now he's going to try to slowly crawl up here, get some cannons or something up at the 3rd base. But also, and almost more importantly, just for this moment in the game, is you want to make sure as Stork that there's no new hatches coming up where Zerg can try to turtle from.
Well, that's a nice interception of that one drone that tried to get over there to make a new hatchery. Zealot's going to even attack up this ramp for a moment. It feels like Stork just has enough units everywhere that everything is going slightly in his favor. Now, it's not like Jaedong's dead or out of this game yet, but Stork is really delivering, I feel.
Yeah, he's looking great. What is this, a storm drop coming up here?
It's nothing coming up here because 2 Scourge are going to kill it.
Corsairs right over there. Oh, man. Now, keep in mind, if that was full of Templars, which I'm sure it was,
it had to have at least 2 Templar in there.
Yeah, that's a lot
Maybe
to
2
lose
and a
here.
Zealot or
When you consider that this is 6-hatch Hydra, where Zerg is looking for a fight, getting rid of Templars is actually all you need to do, guys.
That's it?
Yeah. And then you roll them over, man. You have so many Hydras.
All right.
More and more Hydras are being produced here. We don't have any explosion of Mutalisks yet. I don't know if we will because the Corsair count's gotten high enough. Although sometimes you'll see that that's a thing that players like to do, is get a lot of mutas out and just try to snipe the Templars as the Protoss is taking the 3rd base.
He's going for Lurkers instead here.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's definitely a set of units that can fight well, but Stork's army it's still pretty decent. Even though he lost that shuttle, he's taken some good fights here and there. He's got a lot of gateways, quite a few Dragoons coming out, and that's going to give some great support to him against those Lurkers.
So he's going to come up now, trying to push up to the north. Now, again, Protoss just needs to keep Zerg under control and reduce growth on the map. Here's some Psystorms coming down here. These are really nice Psystorms.
Yeah. Oh, a beautiful one on that top group of Hydras. They take a ton of damage. Stork moving forward, taking out these Lurkers as well, and Jaedong is on the run.
I think Stork might be winning this game, Artosis.
Yeah.
If he could just get rid of that hatch in the upper right and keep Jaedong on 3 bases, Jaedong will die.
Well, Stork is playing this beautifully right now. He sends a group of Zealots to that area, still trying to harass with his Corsairs, but not overextending with them. And he has a nice group of Dragoons and Templars kind of zoning Jaedong back, so there's nothing he can really do right now.
Okay, Queen's Nest on the way here as we're going to get this tech up. I really think a lot of this comes down to the fact that so many Overlords were killed early on Artosis. So much damage was dealt, and then Stork did not skip or miss a beat on anything. He's in great shape. Oh my god, but this denial is huge. Protoss does need a 3rd base. You can stay on 2 bases for a long time, but you do eventually have to get that up and wait it out.
He's going to cancel 2 cannons, a Nexus, and kills a pylon off there. So that was a very successful counterattack with just a small group of Lings. Now Stork running in here. There's a lot of Lurkers. He's actually taking quite a bit of damage from them right now. The Observer was a little bit late, but he comes in. A beautiful Psystorm goes down.
He's got to be careful with those Observers. That's the one way you can halt progress from against a Protoss. I wouldn't be surprised if Observer speed is... it might already even be upgraded. I actually didn't see how fast they were moving because you want to make sure those Observers don't die. As long as they're in the game and you can see those Lurkers, they're going to be fine. And Jaedong needs to do something quickly here because you cannot stay on 3 bases forever.
Especially as Stork is taking his 3rd now. He cancels the plans to take the more regular 3rd at the bottom of the map. And actually takes this other one. I guess since his army's up here, this makes a lot of sense. He's covering it by attacking into Jaedong.
Okay, he's going to edge in. 1 Zealot here to scout this out and make sure that no other hatcheries can come up. Stork is going to go for a bust.
Leads with the Dragoons to try to pick off some of these Lurkers for free. Some Storms going down right now. Jaedong, where are your units? He needs more than this to defend.
Okay, he's doing an excellent job. The push is starting to come through here. He could try to go into the natural here. That's certainly an easier point to access here than trying to get up into the third base. And if he gets into the natural, this game will end with Stork victorious.
Wow, Stork continuing to push forward. Another fantastic size storm. The Zealots getting on top of these Hydras. All the lurkers have been cleaned up, and this is looking like Stork is going to take game number 1.
Okay, one observer taken out, but still, there's another one remaining here, so the lurkers are not a real threat. There should be enough size storms as well. I can't believe it, Artosis. Stork is going to beat Jaedong in this game.
Yeah, it looks like he is going to. In fact, the lurker's all that's left, so the Dragoons fight beautifully against them, and everything being destroyed. Just a matter of moments here before the GG, and there it is. Stork takes down Jaedong in game number 1.
So sick, man. I can't believe this. Wow, he played so well.
Yeah.
Just shut down Jaedong at every turn and every pass. And, yeah, Jaedong was not able to get his fourth base up. Wow.
Just a very solid game
taking on
from
that
Stork
6-hatch
overall.
Hydra.
Yeah. It felt like Jaedong didn't make any fantastic moves to come back except for the Ling counterattack on the third base. That was really good. But positionally speaking as well, that map is really funky. Overwatch is not a map that we see a lot of games on. We were kind of lucky to get that chosen as the first round map here so that we get to see all these interesting games on it. But Jaedong gets the next map choice, so I think he's going to be able to play a much stronger game in set 2.
Yeah, I would agree. And, you know, Jaedong doesn't have to use that style either.
No, certainly not.
There's so many different ways that the Zerg can approach the game. The Protoss is almost always just trying to get 2 size storm without letting the Zerg get out of control. Mm-hmm. You know, and then it's basically always the same unit composition unless Protoss is doing something crazy. So maybe Jaedong mixes it up, tries something different.
He definitely could. You know, if you can get that probe early, of course, there are those rushes. Mutalisks are an opening that Zergs have been using quite a bit lately. Also, just the layout of some of these other maps. For instance, if he goes into a regular 4-player map, maybe he can take another natural and play that very turtled style that we've seen a lot in ZvP in the last couple of years.
Yeah. We're going to be going to a break in a little bit here, but I guess the big question now is, can Stork keep this ball rolling? I really thought Jaedong was going to win. It's still a possibility, but he's one step closer. We're going to go to that break now. We come back, game number 2, Jaedong versus Stork.
지금 저그 6시로 러커 드랍 올 거예요. 보세요. 오잖아요. 그럼 스캔 뿌려서 잡을 준비해야 되는데 막아야 되는데요.
잘 맞추는데? 근데 나랑은 좀 안 맞네.
맞추는데 안 맞는다는 건 또 뭐야?
역시 해설은 샤우팅 용준자.
용준이 형. 형 주무셔야지 어떻게 해요?
왜?
형 찾아요 지금.
아까 그 선수야? 저 선수 한두 경기로 안 끝나거든.
아직 절반도 안 했어요.
이거 날밤 새겠네. 나 이대빵이 좋은데. 선수가 전병력 한 방으로씩 갑니다. 자, 상대 앞마당 멀티 밀어냈고요. 다음 이제 생산 건물만 장악하면 지지. 그렇지. 이럴 땐 역시 박하닉 풀업세이드 탱크에 싹 다 녹아. 이건 뭐죠? 사이렉 스톰.
간만에 날 잡고 하는데 잘 안 되네. 어몽 도와주세요.
자, 오늘은 어떤 명승부가 펼쳐질지 명경기 속에 명언이 터지는 거거든. 지지?
사드론이 뭐야 사드론이. 명언보단 예측이지. 다시 무당에서 가자.
너의 플레이, 상대방의 플레이, 게임의 승패까지 모두 보이는구나. 이거 질 것 같죠? 그러면 제가 흐름 아는데 해설 바꾸겠죠? 제 말 맞죠?
에이 귀 빠지게.
할게요.
그렇다면 MC 용주.
쇼입니다 마니. 상대 선수 프로브까지 동원합니다. 프로브까지 동원. 탱커 1번은 센즈가 됐고 1번은 통통통통통통통. 이제는 병력 없어요. 제제.
역시 해설은 예측이지. 역시 해설은 명불허전. 역시 해설.
뭉치면 살고 흩어지면 죽는다. 해설에 의한, 해설을 위한 해설의 게임을 시작하자.
예측은 감이 아니라 실력입니다. 나의 실력이 선수의 실력이 된다.
나의 샤우팅, 나의 열정은 선수의 즐거움을 위한 것이다.
이 모든 게임에 주인공이 있고 이 모든 게임은 하나의 이야기지.
이거밖에 안 남았는데 지금요. 네,
더.
리그로 가는데요.
설마 이겨요?
네, 이거 이겨요. 오! 와! 당신만을 위한 위대한 그들의 해설 시작하겠습니다. 스타크래프트 전설의 목소리 팩 전격 출시.
야, 나도 한 판만 하자.
Welcome back to the KSL. We just saw Stork beat Jaedong in the first game on Overwatch, but now it is Jaedong's map choice. He takes Circuit Breakers. I think it's a really great choice here. Protoss getting that third gas can be very difficult indeed, whereas Zerg can really kind of expand their heart's content.
We're going to go and see what Jaedong wants to do here this time around. With Stork looking so strong, frankly, Stork looking a lot better in a more basic PvZ than I'm used to seeing compared to some of his modern games. I don't know. This is going to be fun. That's my addition to that, Archie.
Yes.
That's what I have
really
to add here before we start the
Very
game.
well said.
Sorry.
People just cheer for Jaedong. Yeah, you know, this map in particular, that the mineral base is a totally fine third for the Zerg.
Right.
You can get into a lot of Hydras. Lurkers on those ramps above the mineral base give a lot of control on this map, whether you're talking defensively or offensively, because attacking over the bridges is so tough. So it seems like a map just custom tailored to what Jaedong needs here.
Okay, let's now go into game number 2. Right now, Stork with a 1-0 lead versus Jaedong.
We have Jaedong in the bottom right, Stork in the bottom left. So they share that 6 o'clock expansion, which actually changes it quite a bit. You know, in many games, like let's say they were cross spawns or vertical spawns, a lot of the time what you would see is the Zerg player take their mineral base as their third, and then a fourth base a little bit thereafter as like the 6 o'clock base that we see here. And then they'd have 3 gases, they'd have 4 bases, it would be a beautiful situation. But obviously here, taking that base is a lot harder because Protoss could just attack down so easily.
Yeah, PvZ has been such a fun matchup to watch, you know, evolve and change over the ages here. But
this guy's name is Jaedong as well.
it's cute. Yeah, but it's been a matchup that really has changed over the ages. Let's see if he's going to go. Stork is going to go for a gateway first or Forge first here.
His name's actually Youngyu as well. All right, very cool.
Yeah.
That's what they say.
That's what they, yeah.
I want to see a sign out there that like, Tasteless Fighting, my name is also Tasteless. Like, I don't know
I'm
about
like,
that
really?
one.
Your mom named you Tasteless? That's so
really
weird.
sad, actually.
Isn't that abuse? What was school like for you? So it's Forge first. Now note the 2 probes are out. That means you're looking to Cannon Rush here.
Yeah, and Cannon Rush can work here. Just where our observer just showed behind the gas, you can kind of lock it in, but drones can come down if you realize that it's happening and pop over the geyser to fight it. But it doesn't seem as if that's what he's going for. Maybe the 2 probe scout was just a safety scout to make sure he didn't get ling rushed.
Yeah, it looks like it is because he hasn't gone down and made the cannons yet, unless he wants to do it just slightly later. But with the probe over here, right where the expand is, you can see Jaedong's basically already ready for it.
He's faking like he's going to do it, and Jaedong is skipping mining with this drone. Yeah, Jaedong gets away with that nice fast expansion. No problem. And the game looks pretty normal now, even though it was exciting for a moment that we might end up seeing a cannon rush there against Jaedong.
So the drone's going to come up here, going into the center right, and expanding in this direction. And I am so hyped to see Stork playing well, man. I really am. It's such a treat. We're going to have the cannon come down as well. And we're going to have to wait, basically, until, this game picks up a little bit more.
Yeah, it's going to
nothing
take a
to
little
say,
bit. They're
or
both
just-
playing very passively at the moment, as they must. It is the early game of a
Yeah.
ZvP. So the things that you're going to want to look for here is, does the probe stay alive? Does the layer start at a regular time?
Right.
Does Jaedong try to do anything sneaky? The thing is, Jaedong is not even that into chasing the probe. Okay, there are people that get
trying way
into
too
it,
hard. Yeah.
Okay, they'll get like 4 lings out, and they'll just go ham. They'll be doing flanks for days. It'll be the hardest anyone ever tried at anything in the whole world. But here, Jaedong, he wants that extra drone. So if you only have 2 lings, you need 1 to kind of scout out what's happening over there, and you need 1 to chase the probe around so that you tax his multitasking a little bit. So no way to really kill it, which means very unlikely to see a quick Hydra bust.
Yeah, when link speed is done, the probe is going to be killed off, and then the map is dark and mysterious. But at least seeing the layers says, okay, you don't need to make a lot more extra cannons here. It's the den that's the scariest structure you want to be looking for. But, he's starting to get this body blocking off here. We've got 6 lings out now. The fact that he pulled those drones for a second. Oh.
A little
You can
bit
still
of,
make the den after the layers started, by the way, guys.
You can, but it becomes less strong, right? Like, it's going to be a little bit slower than it would be. If you kill the probe right off the bat, it's super fast. The longer the probe stays alive.
Whoa. What did he start? Spire.
Okay, very normal.
And it's also one of the reasons why you have a Stargate that's made. It can scout and kill overlords and everything like that. But also, later on in the game, you want to have enough air presence that the Zerg, if they want to make an air army, has to first confront Corsairs before they can just start attacking the ground. So it's, we have a Citadel coming here as well. Now, last time there was nothing really too flashy that Stork did.
No.
It was kind of like,
Just good standard
if you
play,
want to
right?
copy a build and try to play standard, that's basically how PvZ is supposed to look.
Made the very nice moves. Right now, Jaedong adding the 4th hatch, so the builds look very similar on these sides. Nothing is out of the ordinary.
So
we'll see if he adds... Yeah, he just added another hatch, so he's already going up to 5 hatch, and we should see a Hydralisk Den next, and eventually a 6th hatch if he wants to continue on that route.
Yeah, and the 6-hatch style, which is much more modern than a lot of other stuff we've seen here, you're looking for a fight. Now, this all being said, we may see Jaedong try to actually match the air arsenal that Stork has. That's another thing you could do, is start to make Scourge and try to fight him and then try to get mutas out. But I don't think he's going to do it, just knowing Jaedong.
Yeah. Well, Stork's playing very solidly, too. I really love Mutalisk-based styles in this matchup, but when you do it, there is a bit of a risk. If they just control their Corsairs perfectly and make some good moves, then a lot of times that becomes a waste.
Yeah, and the Protoss' ground army becomes way too good. Oh!
Well.
Good hit. Takes that first Corsair out. Getting rid of the first Corsair is actually huge because there's a specific moment where if you haven't made any mistakes as Protoss, you actually have enough Corsairs to then engage Scourge directly. But getting rid of that usually forces the Protoss player to go back and try to hide and therefore not scout anymore.
Yeah, it's going to take a while. Like, for instance, I believe, if I recall correctly, it's 9 Corsairs with +1 to one-shot a Scourge, which means 5 with +1 with 2-shot it, which is, if you're 3-shotting versus 2-shotting, that's a very different amount of space that the Scourge can cover. So, yeah, losing that 1 even. It's a scary prospect.
So Zerg is going to start moving out. Zealot Legs should be finishing right around now. So we're going to have 4 gateways coming up. Excuse me, it's just now wrapped up. But is Jaedong going to have any vulnerable locations over here?
Oh, he only has a few Hydras right there. Some more are popping out. Looks like Stork wants to get in and engage. Oh, a nice surround on that first one. Drones coming out. So Jaedong is definitely worried at the moment.
Yeah, but if he can actually catch any of these... Oh my god, he actually walked in front of the Hydralisk Den. This is really bad. These Lings need to come in here and start doing some more damage. And maybe he actually has enough here. I mean, this is where... When there's this many Zealots out, guys... Oh my god.
This is looking problematic. He sends those Hydras down. I think there's a DT out in the map as well, going towards maybe that 3rd base location right now. With all these Hydras down here to fight the Zealots, we'll see if the additional units can do any more damage. But that seemed very good. Oh, it's High Templars. Oh, my God.
Whoa!
What are they doing?
This is one way you can lose this game is to have those just shot down.
Rally your
Scrambling to get back home is Stork.
Scouting High Templars. Thought we only had those in StarCraft 2.
Now we've got the Hydras coming back across the map. It looks like he will barely be able to get away before being sniped.
Will he though? 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 Yes, he will.
Another storm's going to come down here.
Takes the Archon as well. Adding another cannon, it looks like, up at the top, just in case, since he did lose all those Zealots. But he killed a decent amount of drones, so I think that Stork is probably happy with this position, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, no, I would absolutely agree with that. You know, losing that initial amount of Hydras, it makes it harder for you to increment out and be strong as a Zerg, because Protoss is already getting all their gateways up. So there's a point in time where Protoss, also the job of the Protoss becomes easier. They're just mass producing. You know, they're getting probably Dragoon range as well. They're getting everything else they need. And if you could just keep the Hydra count low, a Protoss army in the long run is going to be better than mass Hydras.
Yes.
Size
You
Storm,
definitely do
Dragoons,
need
and
to-
Zealots is better than Hydras. It's when the Hydras have a critical mass and your Templars are exposed or vulnerable. And so this is why we're seeing immediately Stork come back out, and he wants to do a lot of damage here.
Yeah, he's going up to 7 gates right there. He did lose that front gate. Huge production. Looks like he has a couple Psy Storms ready here as well. Putting damage on those Hydras, forcing him back over the bridge. Now, does he turn around or does he chase?
He's
gonna cover the
coming down.
bridge. Oh,
All right, nice Size Storm there. That Archon is still alive, by the way. It tanked a decent amount of damage. And now the Zealots are going to come in the front here. Oh my God, is he going to break Jaedong right here?
I think with that SimCity right now, it might be a little bit risky. I think the Stork should wait for some reinforcements.
Here's the thing: is when you're in this spot, Artosis, sometimes you can rotate back up towards their third base, back down towards the natural. It's kind of hard for the Zerg to actually keep both of those defended because they're trying to get all their Hydras together or get ready for a flank. And so when you're in between rally points and all that, it can be very difficult for the Zerg. And now that he's got map control, you can bring a shuttle out on the map, for instance. Oh, great Size Storm.
Yeah, let's not forget, last time he brought a shuttle on the map in Game 1, it did get scourged. It doesn't look like that's going to happen this time.
And this may even have DTs in it. Good targeting here on the Archon, but these Zealots are still dealing a lot of damage, and one Zealot comes in here into the natural. Meanwhile, DT's unloading in the main.
Oh, this could be big. These DTs one-hit drones, so you don't get a verbal warning in the game. Here we go. He's going after the drones. Let's see how many before Jaedong realizes what's going on. Still Stork fighting at the front. This is keeping Jaedong busy. He doesn't know his drones are going down.
With all these drones being killed and still a lot of presence here on the map, Jaedong still doesn't realize.
No.
He may just, he just now sees it.
11
kills, Artosis.
That is a huge amount of damage
And
done
he might
by
even
Stork.
get the Spire. Oh.
Looks like he'll save the Spire, but this was an insane amount of damage.
And the shuttle's going to get away to tell the tale. Now, we just saw the 6th hatchery finish there for Jaedong. Problem is, guys, Protoss has so much. And by the way, when you have enough Dragoons out, it's funny because Dragoons by themselves are the worst thing ever against Zerg. But when you add them into Zealot, Archon, Templar, oh, it's so nice.
Yeah, they really do a lot.
It is the salad dressing on the salad, Artosis.
You really need it.
You need dressing, okay?
Yeah.
If you want to enjoy your life.
No, it adds calories, but it adds taste as well.
That's right. And the thing is, you can actually hold position outside their entrance, and the Dragoons will just chip away. If you could tear down one of their hatches or anything else like that, it becomes a problem. And not just that, but also Dragoons can hit retreating Hydras. And, generally, okay, here we go. And watch this. Oh, that's it, GG.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Look at this. Stork's like, it's happening.
Stork feeling very good about his chances here. Up 2-0 to open against Jaedong. Now, those were slightly unfavorable spawns for Jaedong. If he was in either of those spots, I think the game looks a little bit different at least. That third base is harder to hold for Zerg. But you know what? Stork is playing really well. The one thing I want to know is that they're both doing basically the same strategies in both games. So maybe it's time for Jaedong to mix that up a little bit and get aggressive early on.
It's impressive how clean Stork is playing. Again, a lot of that came back to that initial attack with the Zealots. He killed enough Hydras and a few drones, that there was nowhere really that the Zerg could fight. And, it was pretty clear once that third base was coming up and those Dragoons were outside of the Zerg's third base hitting the hatchery. I mean, that's it. Protoss got to where Protoss needed to be. By the way, Stork wins the moment he gets everything he needs so far against Jadong.
Yeah, it seems that
Dragoon
way.
range is done. It's like game over, buddy.
Well, that's the definition of everything you need is you win with it.
I mean, it's not even like it's a long game where Zerg's turtling and the army's moving around and hitting everything. It's so impressive, actually, he closes it out that fast.
He's been keeping the pressure on so well. Like, Stork really is playing very well recently, and you can even see that reflected in what is historically his weakest matchup, PVZ.
Yeah, it's so exciting to see Stork playing, and actually just delivering and because a lot of times his builds were really cool and they'd cut corners and you do this and that. No, this is just very standard.
Very solid
You can copy
play.
what he's doing here, and if you can perform like him, you will beat great Zergs. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we're going to go to our third game here. We'll be right back.
해설 김정민,
해설 엄재경.
게임캐스터 전영준입니다. 우리 스타크래프트 유저분들께 보통은 중계를 통해서 여러분께 다가갈 수 있는데 이 아나운서 팩은 거의 유일하게 게임하시는 그 현장에 제가 여러분을 찾아갈 수가 있어요. 또 여러분은 플레이하시면서 저를 보실 수 있는 거의 유일한 기회입니다. 저를 들으실 수 있고 여러분이 직접 마우스와 키보드를 잡으셨을 때 제 목소리를 들으실 수가 있고 저 또한 그 순간에 여러분과 함께 할 수 있게 되는 이런 기회여서 정말 무한한 영광으로 생각합니다. 저도 중계할 때 에너지 관리 잘하자고 항상 생각하고 있습니다. 뉴클리어 핵 공격이 들어오고 있습니다. 빨간 점 찾아야죠. 어딘가요? 저거는 빨간 점 찾기가 어렵잖아요.
뭐 그러면 안 됩니다. 막히면 안 됩니다. 이런 것들이 좀 많아요. 그게 뭐냐면 제가 프로게이머 출신이다 보니까 뭔가 사람들 플레이를 답답해하는 거, 서플라이가 막히면 안 됩니다. 보급고가 막히면 안 됩니다. 이런 얘기들을 정말 많이 했어요. 근데 저는 그 부분이 되게 중요한 것 같아요. 보급고, 서플, 오버로드가 자주 막히면 게임을 잘 못해요. 여러분들 잘 들으셔야 됩니다. 그게 막히면 티어도 오르지 않고 실력도 절대로 안 오르거든요. 제 얘기 들으면서 오버로드 막히거나 인구수 막히면 반성하시고 바로바로 빠르게 익숙해지시길 바라겠습니다. 거기에는 지울 수 없습니다. 지형 잘 봐야죠. 인구수 막혔어요. 집중해야 됩니다. 인구수가 자주 막히니까 티어가 떨어지는 거예요.
세계에서 사는 유명 게임 캐스터가 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 지금 솔직히 그런지 잘 모르겠고요. 당연히 만국공통 이거죠. 제재입니다.
굉장히 그 10여 년 동안 제 중계를 이렇게 재미있게 지켜보셨던 팬분들 입장에서는 어떤 제 목소리는 이제 들을 데가 없잖아요. 뭐 용준이하고 정민이는 지금도 왕성하게 활동을 하고 있기 때문에 종종 들을 수 있지만 제 목소리는 거의 들을 수 없습니다. 근데 범재경의 목소리를 이런 충고를 하고 중계를 하는 이런 느낌을 받으면서 들을 수 있다는 거, 게임을 할 수 있다는 거, 이게 이제 제가 가진 강점이 되겠죠.
컨트롤만 잘하면 제일 무서운 게 토스예요. 집중해서 싸우면 됩니다. 자, 일단 버텨야죠. 쓸 수 있을 때까지 어떻게 버티느냐가 중요합니다.
제 팩을 사면 여러분들의 티어가 오른다고 저는 확신합니다. 저의 팩에서 저의 앙탈진 목소리와 그리고 여러분들 계속해서 지적하고 때에 따라서는 다독이면서 당근과 채찍을 제가 기가 막히게 들고 있거든요. 여러분들이 게임이 좀 안 될 때 계속해서 동기부여까지 해줄 수 있는 그런 팩입니다. 자, 그러니까 김정민 아나운서 팩 반드시 사야겠죠?
그건 거짓말입니다. 제가 생각했을 때는 세 사람의 목소리가 함께 있는 팩이 제일 나을 거예요. 가성비, 재미도 가장 있을 것 같고 저라면 그걸 삽니다.
제가 2002년에는 뭐 박정석, 이명환 경기 중계를 했고 2005년 중계는 뭐 최현성, 그리고 그 이후에는 뭐 이윤열, 그리고 2010년 전후에는 이영호, 이재동 경기, 뭐 김태현 경기를 중계했습니다. 올해는 여러분의 경기입니다.
Welcome back to the KSL. We are witnessing Stork's revival right now, 2-0 up against Jadong. Now, things like this have happened to Jadong somewhat often recently, actually. Like in a lot of the qualifiers and stuff that I've seen and I've casted, I've seen him go down 0-2 against Protoss players in best of fives, playing macro games, and then 3-0 them with cheeses after that.
And
just aggressive plays. Is he going to bust that out here? I think it's time.
I think it is. Also, it's on Medusa.
Oh, well.
I mean, this is a map where you absolutely have a lot of different cheeses. It's hard for Protoss to get an expand up. You know, it's with that high ground area above your natural and the temples in the back. There's a lot of places you're trying to cover. So if the Zerg can create ambiguity, maybe there's some type of rush that Jadon could do to come in here and kill Stork off.
Sure, I could see that being the case. Let's not forget, you have that mineral base up in the back. It seems like that's pretty good for Protoss, right? You can kind of get that for free right away, but I guess that same can be said for Zerg. You're just...
the mineral base doesn't help actually that much.
Yeah, it never really does for Protoss.
Because you need gas. I mean, it's like, it's a base, like you'll make a Nexus there, sure, you're going to take it, but the other thing is that the fourth base, if you could stop Zerg from getting on that here on this map especially, because it's these bridged areas, Zerg might want to try to isolate themselves on that. Yeah, actually, I don't think the mineral bases are going to play as much of a role, though, in general.
Okay.
But let's see how they open up, because we don't know if Stork's going to do some kind of crazy cheese as well here.
No, it's possible.
We're going to go now into game number 3. Stork 2-0 versus Jadon.
We have Jadong at the mid-right. Stork at the bottom center-ish, left-ish.
Over here
Yeah.
at 6:50
Oh my god, a
o'clock.
5 pool?
Yeah.
A 5 pool!
Now this is really sick because
Oh my gosh. Watch, he just makes 3 drones on 150.
he's like, oh my god, I forgot to make drones. My build's messed up now.
Okay, so a 5 pool, this is so aggressive. I love that he's going all in right now. If Stork scouts in the wrong direction, I would imagine that this does very well.
Yeah, there's...
Oh, against this, are you supposed to, if you're going forge, leave your natural stuff and just make a cannon in your main? Isn't that how that goes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the understanding that I have of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of depends on what your entrance is. You know, you can write books on dealing with entrances for bases, right? Depending on wall-ins and the unit combinations that are there.
I don't think they'd sell too many copies, but yeah, I would.
I would have a bookshelf full of them.
Yeah,
for sure. Now he's going to get the scout off first, and there's 2 things. One is that, you know, remember when you see a rush like this from Zerg, they don't have a lot of drones. And so you're looking at this and you're saying, all right, Protoss can keep making probes, right? And so here it is, the pylon there. There's going to be a forge made over here.
Yeah, and that's a sacrificial forge.
Right, and this is only because, remember, guys, you need the pylon to power the forge. And so he's going to make a cannon, I think maybe even 2, because he needs to make sure his gas and his minerals are covered.
I wonder what the follow-up is here on both sides, kind of.
So Zerg wants to try to... Well, there's a couple things. For one, your gateway is late. You then have 360 degrees of stuff to cover. And, you know, the cannons, you need to be able to make a gateway, make cybernetics core. You're basically playing a little SimCity game of your own here, trying to do this. But, you know, Protoss is constantly producing probes. So Protoss is actually mining much faster here.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm actually glad we're seeing this because a lot of people don't know how to stop a 5 pool.
Yeah.
And this is exactly it.
Yeah.
Now, I don't believe the Zerg is going to go for a dive here. I think that would be suicide.
He actually does dive in a little bit, getting as many probes as he
I meant
can.
on the cannon.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes you'll see someone miscontrol and the cannon just dies because, you know, cannons are horribly weak when they're warping in.
Well, he loses a couple things, but kills 3 probes. So I would say that's well worth it, right?
Yeah, and now he's going to get the pylon. And I guess the forge, of course, as well. Stork's going to try to come in here and body block this. I don't think it's going to work. Nicely done. And next, you're going to need to get a gas, and you're kind of going to power up on one base.
Well, he can't get the gas.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, there's another approach you can do as well here. Okay.
Okay.
So you go for 2-gate Zealot, and you then turn this into like a game from 1998 where you're going to try to 2-gate rush the Zerg. Because if they're making drones, they're not making lings.
Yeah.
And so the idea is that as Zerg's trying to get back on his feet economically, you start to put on the pressure.
And I think specifically this spot, you look at where he put his cannon, he actually can't cover the gas. So if he took the gas, the Zerglings would cancel it. So I think he's like, do you think that this is exactly what he wanted to do, or is this just kind of he's forced into
I've
it
seen
because
this
of
more and
position.
more with when people do the 5 pool. Is that the Protoss wants to just start making zealots like crazy.
Okay.
I was actually thinking of something that was kind of older, which is you get a gas, you try to get a Stargate up.
Oh,
you try
yeah,
to you try to go Corsair DT and push out on the map. But I think this is actually better. And then the whole time the Protoss is making probes constantly because you can still stay ahead in workers.
Now, to hold this, are you supposed to make a... You must want to make a sunken, right? If he starts attacking?
I think so, yeah. I think you have to. The problem is that Zerg can also counterattack here. So there's so many moving parts to this. And let's not forget, specifically on this map, there are those temples, which these lings are hitting.
It's going to take a while, but...
If he tears down all those, he's going to get up there. And then you're getting behind the main. Protoss just wants to be on maps where they can turtle early on and try to go into a safer game here.
By the way, just to mention, Jaedong is getting Zergling speed. He just started it, so right around 6 minutes, we are going to have that finishing up just before. And I think he's just going to mass lings from here. I mean, he has 3 hatches. He has that speed on the way. And
this is 4 zealots.
He's got enough lings, I think.
Yeah, I think he should be okay.
Yeah.
But
Ooh, if they get back there, though. If you get him into a little nook or cranny.
Oh, my God. What?
Whoa.
What?
Yeah, Stork having a hard time.
Oh, that might be too much here.
Yeah.
Now, he's going to try to suicide these onto the drones. Because there are just not a lot of drones, guys.
Split him up here as well. That one is
There's
not
actually
crazy.
so much happening here right now.
Now, how do you hold a Stork? I think he has to look at this and say, yeah, this is a mass speedling attack coming up.
Well, I think you just try to get the forge up and try to defend as best you can. I mean, it's interesting to see Stork trying to use these zealots kind of like they're vultures here. But I think if you have cannons up, you're going to be okay. Unfortunately, he doesn't have cannons up.
Yeah, that's a lot of Zerglings. The probes get pulled up right now. Trying to hold on, trying to get this cannon to finish warping in. But Jaedong with tons of damage. He eliminates that cannon and gets by the Zealots. Let's not forget, there is a cannon in the main base.
Right. Basically, Stork is just trying to get cannons up. You will do anything. You will sell your soul for cannons up over here. Whatever it takes, because once you get that up, the threat of lings is so dramatically reduced, especially with a cannon in the main, too.
Yeah.
Like you were mentioning, it's like, oh, well, then I'm fine.
Yeah.
Lings are actually terrible at this point in time. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about a little bit
Yeah.
before there. Jaedong has made a few more lings. I'm unsure if he's really going to make too many more than that. The 2 cannons of the naturals should be all done. Still quite a few zealots being made here.
Yeah,
by
he's
Stork.
not going to slow down with producing those zealots here. He's going to want to get +1 attack. He's going to want to get zealot legs. And we might even want to see maybe lurkers to defend here. I'm not sure. Well, the thing is, I don't know exactly how, after all these interactions, where the Zerg's at and where the Protoss is going to be.
Yeah.
You know?
No, this is very hard for me to figure out what's going on. 5 pulls into games like this.
Yeah.
Little Terran player like me doesn't experience this too much.
But even for an old Protoss player like me, this is one I'm still kind of getting used to. I think, especially from the era when I competed in, it was all about trying to get the tech out.
Yeah.
Regardless of what way the build went, and it seems like there's this alternative way that actually looks like a lot older.
Oh my gosh.
Oh wow!
I love
Now this might be such a specific timing here.
Yeah.
Range and speed.
Getting them both at the same time. I guess he sees the tech, right? There isn't much. It's just gateways. So, I mean, if he just gets a bunch of Hydras, of course he'll win that.
Yeah. Not to mention, it looks like these Zealots are not winning these fights over here, so it's just cannons. I think Jaedong's going to take this game, Artosis.
Yeah, absolutely. Looking good for him right now. Citadel on the way. I guess that is one thing that you can try out here, is getting into either Zealot Legs or a Dark Templar. But this push is going to hit definitely before there's any Psystorm.
Yeah. Does Stork expect this? I mean, Protoss in games like this is in a constant state of insecurity because your units are so slow. You know, you can be kited all day. Hydras just beat you. but you're also afraid because you haven't been able to scout that much. There could be mutas coming. There could be lurkers coming. There's all sorts of stuff that can happen with those temples over there. You get lurkers to destroy the temples, and you don't have cannons up there to defend. There's just so much that can go on. But Hydras with speed, hitting at a very specific moment, might be too difficult to deal with, specifically because even if Zealot Legs is done, there's not a lot of Zealots.
Yeah.
They've mostly been fighting.
Yeah. Okay, he scouts exactly what's going on.
Okay.
He knows what this is. Cannons galore. Throwing up 3 right now, 4. Is he going to be able to hold on to this?
Let's find out. I mean, the rush is going to come down here. Now, you could have so many cannons and then still lose to Hydras. The Zealots need a tank over here. Placement is also very important.
Ooh.
StarCraft 2 people watching, let me answer this question right now. No, you do not dive on the pylon.
I
Okay,
know.
this is just...
It's the best way to lose.
Pylons do not die very quickly in StarCraft 1.
Okay, he attacks in, but this is enough to hold on. Absolutely.
Yeah,
enough.
there's like as many cannons as there are Hydras here.
Yeah.
And as Stork holds this, I mean, this is not an easy segue to the next part of the game here for Jaedong. Now, he's going to make a few more cannons here because the Forge is going to go down.
Okay, so clearly here he has to get Lair. It
Right.
seems to me that Lurker is just so obvious. You kill those temples, and, like, you're making Stork defend everywhere all game.
Well, what Protoss wants to do is try to push out and actually be in front of those temples, so you can't do that.
Well, if all you're building is cannons, I don't know how you're going to be able to do that, Tasteless.
You might be right, Arctosis. We'll see. Lurker Tech is absolutely going to come. There's Zerg taking the 4th.
Some evolution chambers coming up for those upgrades, realizing that it is going to be a longer game. Double Forge! Or is that a mistake, or did he do that on purpose? He must
I don't
have
know.
done that on purpose.
I would imagine it's on purpose because it's, but
If you have 2 Hydra Dens, I'm going to get 2 Forges.
that's right. These upgrades scale much better than your double Hydra upgrades.
For every Forge you kill, I will make a new one.
Now, we have the robotics facility coming here. I think that observers and lurkers are going to both enter into the game at about the same time.
Okay. 3 evolution chambers, was that? Or did I count that wrong?
I think you're right.
Okay. Cool.
And there's the Nexus being made now. Not a bunch of more gateways just yet, but a Nexus. And you want to try to push out. Drones are going to be transferred. And, the Spire Tech is incredibly late. Again, if you guys are just now tuning in, this game started out as a 5 pool. Okay, so just...
I know, it's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy how we get here. This is why this is a little bit trickier for us to cast. Is it went from like an all-in to okay, we're in a macro game now, but all the tech is coming up at weird moments that are awkward.
Hey, the Overlord gonna fly in. I don't think it's finding too much new interesting stuff. Single cannon going down here. Oh, he starts attacking, but at least Stork sees that this is occurring.
What was it? Cancel?
Yeah, well, I think it's not going to do much. That was like an anti-Ling knocking this down.
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
Maybe?
Oh, I think you're right. Corsair's going to move out. We do have a hive on the way. So he scouted where the maybe the most attackable location is on the map. Protoss, I think, eventually is going to try to take the center left, but we're still a ways away. Now, because Zerg expanded towards the Protoss can start trying to drop over there. And with a late Spire, that's definitely a play you want to go for. If they don't have a Spire, start using shuttles. Now, the first set of Scourge have finished
Yeah, it's
from that
probably
late Spire tech, but
yeah, chase away this first. Oh, gets it. Very nice. Another set of Scourge are out. Ooh, this could be some good harassment.
oh, here we go. Oh, my God. Great size storms, and he might even be able to get back home. And I love the Afterthought DT.
The
That's
afterthought
But
DT.
as it's leaving, he just boop, puts one right out there. I don't think there's going to be an Overlord
Oh.
over here.
Well, that's a mistake
Look at
right
this.
there. Well, there is an Overlord, but that's okay. It can still get quite a few kills before it goes down.
Yeah.
3, 4, 5. Wow.
Man.
So that was a lot of drones killed off in this area, and suddenly, look at Stork. He's got a lot going on.
What is this Archon doing here?
I think it's to kill the temple. It's the one unit that you have that can actually kill the
Oh,
temples
yeah, I
reasonably
guess
quickly.
you're right. Oh!
Would have actually been a very strong kill, because again, that's like how you can clear the Zerg temples. You need that splash damage because there's so many temples stacked upon each other.
Yeah, otherwise it takes way too long. Now, again, Zerg just lost a bunch of workers. So they're going to have to remake a decent amount of those before we can have more attacking units come out. We have some more gateways coming down here as well.
So Stork is technically on 3 bases, but only has 2 gases here. Do you try to just go very Dragoon heavy, or just do you make peace with it and make Infinity Zealots?
Dragoon heavy, I believe.
Dragoon heavy?
Yeah.
Well, right now it seems like Infinity Zealots. We'll see if he switches that.
Well, I think he wants to come up here and try to exploit the temple location.
Well, he
But
needs an Archon for that.
Yeah.
One Archon will kill all that stuff quicker than like 10 Zealots. It's pretty funny.
Okay, he's going to come in.
Oh, that is a lot of lurkers right there, dealing a ton of damage to these Zealots. Stork decides to turn around before losing them all.
The Observer has to back up. He wants to be very careful to not lose that. The easiest way to lose a game as Protoss against Zerg when it's later on is to just lose Observers 3 or 4 times. And Zerg's basically fine. And any good Zerg knows that if he just stays back and turtles up enough, he's going to be okay.
Ooh, the Observer going a little bit too close. It gets hit a few times. Does not end up dying, though. Oh, here comes that big amount of Dragoons that you were talking about.
Okay, some Psy Storms are coming down here on top of these Lurkers. Right. Now, there's a whole art for the Zerg to spacing the Lurkers out so that you're at times using 2 Psy Storms to kill a Lurker.
Yeah. If you have them clumped up, like those 2 that just burrowed, you could kill both those with 2 Storms, but the ones that he had were exactly a Storm apart.
It's 1 Zealot hit and a Psy Storm to kill a Lurker. So sometimes you'll have a Psy Storm connect on a Lurker, and you'll see 1 Zealot just dart in there and punch it.
Yeah, or a Dragoon does the same.
Same thing, yeah.
A Trapped High Templar. There is a Defiler mount out that we just saw. Of course, Defilers, unbelievably powerful. So helpful to get those plagues off on the Protoss army.
I like the shuttle play. Coming up here, maybe you could do a drop over into that the mineral only. It's a very, very, very far distance to try to travel up to and get to. Okay, we've got Observer speed finished here. He's going to be more easily able to actually mobilize the Observer.
You know, Medusa can give some great games, I have to say, because look at this right now. Both sides are trying to get to the other player's temple, but at the same time, very carefully defending their own temple. No one wants their opponent just walking up into the back of their base.
Okay, the Zealots are coming in, and it's kind of funny he's hitting the hatch. But I'll tell you what, let's see how much damage it actually ends up doing. The Lings are going to come up here and try to fight this. Now, while this is going on, the Protoss is trying to pry his way into that bottom right base.
If he gets that base, it's a big deal. It's a huge chunk of Jaedong's economy. By the way, Jaedong looks like he might be counterattacking here. Maybe not enough to clear all these cannons?
Yeah, he's going to be okay. The cannons in between with the probes, it's too hard to take down.
So Stork's still trying to get in here. He's got to be careful not to get surrounded. The Defilers are out right now. That can make this very scary. Look at that Dark Storm going on. These Dragoons become quite worthless in this type of situation.
Yeah, these Dark Swarms are not quite helping. Another one does come down here. Actually, there's not enough Zealots for him to fight under those, so the Dark Swarm actually saves the day here.
Yeah, great Dark Storm. I'm sure Plague will be coming up next to hit those Dragoons even harder.
Protoss continuing to come out. We need more Zealots and Archons here to try to fight. My God, he's got so many gateways.
Yeah,
it's insane when Protoss gets enough probes, just how much they can do.
Stork has done such a great job this game, you know, after the 5 pull in. I mean, Jaedong as well. This has turned into our best game of the night.
Yeah.
It really has. These Zerglings now with those Adrenal upgrades, so powerful. 2-2 upgrades for Protoss. Did you check what the Zerg is at? They must be at 2-2-2, right?
I didn't check, but I think you're probably right.
It's probably 2-2-2 with when those Evos came up. Okay, he's got +2 carapace at minimum. Yeah, when these plagues start to come out, just weakening that army so much. The big battle that we have when they all die, they're going to go down quickly.
So he's going to start shuttling these Zealots in here now. He needs to keep doing this because this is the only way to get an army to back up. Dragoons are now going to come forward, hitting a lot of these Lurkers.
Picks off a decent amount. That Psy Storm going down to cover as the Hydras do come forward. All these Zealots being ferried in, though. I think this is a really great move by Stork. You're going to have to send a lot of units up there as Jaedong.
Okay, here comes another attack over here. And And man, getting this hatchery. Oh my god, a great drop here by Jaedong. There's nothing to defend. What? Okay, there we go. He's in a I was like, what are there, like 3 Zerglings in there?
Oh, he weathered the storm, right?
Yeah.
The Overlords and then drop them out. Nicely done. Of course, the cannon's not going to do anything there. Oh my god, killing off the spawning pool. Killing off that third base, the mineral only. A lot of damage being dealt on both sides here.
Okay, it looks like he's going to hold this off and have to remake that Nexus. Can the Dragoons try to plow their way through all of those lurkers? I guess not. I guess he's going to stay back for a little bit longer here.
Jaedong has got to remake the spawning pool coming up here.
It would not kill the Protoss to start mass-producing Corsairs here. When you start to see these kind of drops, there's only one spot he can drop, okay? And it's the center of the map here on the bottom.
Okay, so ooh, look at this attack, though, that Stork's doing right now. Doesn't have time to make those Corsairs. Storming some of these lurker eggs. He still hasn't broken into that gas expansion, but he's been doing a lot of good work with that shuttle.
Okay, this drop, this is going to be so hard to deal with.
Well, that High Templar's been stuck there a long time. He's
I know.
been waiting for this moment.
Eat Storm!
Well,
Okay.
it definitely does something there at least, but the Dark Storm's going down. A lot of lurkers
Oh my
burrowing
God, he's
in
sending
these
everything
lanes.
back. It's like Protoss has to do this, but once you see them running back like this, you know it's a bad sign.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, drops like this are so deadly in the late game against Protoss. Zerglings can kill Protoss buildings as the upgrades go higher and higher so quickly.
Keep in mind that Zerg's on the same number of bases as Protoss, and I don't think he's going to be able to expand again.
Yeah,
The Zerg is, by the way. So there's some fundamental problems for Jaedong here as well, and in some ways I think, even though it's Stork, we saw him take quite a beating there.
Yeah.
I think that Jaedong cannot outlast Stork at all.
Yeah, I think just the fact that Stork got that additional gas expansion is really working for him right now.
Yeah.
He's got so much size to him. His army is technical enough to fight against what Jaedong has. Now, Jaedong is taking some more bases.
You know, we never had Reavers used here. A lot of
No,
times
not
when you
yet.
have mineral onlys, Reavers are a great way to play, even when you get into the point in the game where Defilers are being used.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
Defilers are kind of like the terrorist unit of PVs or ZvP, right? I mean, you could try to fight in a really unfair fashion. You know, one Dark Swarm can take out a ton of cannons.
Yeah.
As long as there are lings there. So getting the Reaver, and you just kind of put Reavers. Look at this.
Do you see how silly it is? How quickly
You know, those are
Adrenalines
the
kill
things,
buildings?
the first units that Zerg can make after the pool's done. Did you
Yeah.
know that? Is those
They
units.
scale well, it turns out.
Yeah. Turns out they're what you want to get in the end of the game too.
Yeah.
You spend time flirting with other units only to come back to your first love, the Ling.
Yeah, it's really true. These things are so deadly
I know
right
it
now.
makes me happy. This storm drop.
Oh my gosh.
my
That's such a big chunk of Jaedong's economy. It doesn't seem like he
No,
sees
no,
it.
He's not even going to drop there. What am I seeing?
He's
what?
tricking everybody.
I'm going to fly onto another map.
Maybe going for the natural, I guess.
Jeez, ambitious much?
Stork coming over right now. Does have a bit of a scary army.
Here we go. Uh-oh, it's a Zealot drop.
All right. Continues to try to utilize those extra minerals. Dark Storms go up, so the Dragoons not so helpful. And also the Archon, it does splash damage, but its main attack is ranged. So Dark Storm definitely useful in this situation.
Shuttle goes down. Oh my god.
Ooh, a lot of units dying off there.
3-3 lurkers, man. Ouch.
3-1-2. Great upgrades on both sides.
Zerg, again, very close to being mined out.
Stork has no bank. Look at this.
Yeah.
He's starting to run dry. He did sneak that mineral-only base, though, in the top left main.
Yeah, that's really cute.
That is actually something that might really pay off for him in a minute here.
Well, the odds of Zerg looking there, you're normally looking for where there's gas exposed.
Yeah, yeah.
But just having the extra minerals, as long as he doesn't lose too many Templars.
This is starting to feel like it's going towards Jaedong a little bit right now.
I think you're right.
But, like you pointed out, he hasn't been able to take like a new base in a long time.
He needs to tear that temple down and run into the main.
Oh, it would be strong, but he's got Overlords, so who cares? Look at that guy just waiting there.
Busted. Okay, so he gets that. Now there's Templars here to storm. You know, one other thing, too, is if you have only these mineral ones, just get more and more cannons, you know?
Well, you know, when he did have some cannons there as well, we did see a little bit of Darkstorm drops, but Jaedong, I mean, I don't think he can keep this up forever. He's having such a hard time securing any other bases. Okay, a lot of lurkers going into the center here. Let's see what the plan is. If there's any Psystorm there, that can be so dangerous. Could be his moment to take down the temple. Doesn't look like he's going after it. A lot of interesting unit movements happening on the map right now.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Okay, another pickup here. Again, you know, dropping can be a double-edged sword like this. You know, if you keep dropping and you're not doing any damage, especially with the lurkers, this is where all your gas is going. You're getting rid of a lot of that.
All right,
Okay,
that is a lot of Archons in that army.
Hold on.
How many storms are left in here?
I think there's actually a lot of storms left,
there?
man. I think so.
Just gonna be careful about that. Okay, throws down that Dark Swarm. Storm goes down. He's trying to micro against this.
Oh my god, he needs to storm that.
Ooh, but Jaedong very quickly unburrowing some of these lurkers, moving them back, using Dark Swarms out there against the masses of ranged units. Look at how many Archons are here. He's sick of the Zerglings.
Now here's the funny part.
Oh my god.
He's going to expand there.
He still doesn't know about that.
You could put cannons on the high ground.
Yeah.
And so this hidden mineral-only expansion is probably going to win Stork the game.
Yeah, it really
Oh my god, he knows. Oh, I wish we had a
Just
shot of
finds
Jaedong's
out.
face.
Yeah. That right there changes all the math of what Jaedong was going for here. Jaedong is going to run dry relatively soon. You know what? If he gets up there with some Lings and Defilers, he could get rid of it. But Stork is zoning the map really well. He's starting to send a lot of units up in this general direction, which is going to make it harder for Jaedong to, you know, really kill off that mineral base.
Okay, another storm comes down here. This time it's Hydra's dropping in.
Very interesting. As Stork moves his army to the north, Jaedong continues to assault the main base. Stork has been holding on beautifully, but can he continue to do that with so many units out on the map?
Okay, he's seeing this base over here. Hold on a second. I just don't...
Ooh, these Archons, +3 Archons.
Here's the thing. Stork can kind of sit around and defend, but Jaedong actually really has to get another base up here.
Yeah.
And I would say the upper right is probably your best bet. He needs to get that Archon over the to where these. Oh, that's so funny. Another new wall, and we've learned, guys.
Yep.
Okay, another great storm. I think because this is the bulk of the Zerg's army.
Yeah, but these Archons are very important. If he can eliminate them all, the
my
storms
God.
are so good.
Okay, he's just going to come through. Look at this. Is
What
that
is
a
that?
Nidus?
Oh,
get it.
Nidus coming up. Let's see
He
what
needs to
comes
target
out
that
of
down.
it.
Oh!
You better send units in or out of it. There we go.
No, make up your mind. No.
Oh my God, he saves it.
Oh my God.
Such an important moment. The Dark Storm goes up right now.
Oh my God, he needs to kill this Nidus, man.
Oh my God, the Hydras cannot kill the Archons under the Dark Storm.
Okay, he kills it. There should be enough now to fight this off.
Yeah.
I think that should be
I
game.
think Stork's done it.
Oh my God.
What a crazy game.
Yeah.
Very well done. This started with a 5 pool. 30 minutes later,
You're right. Yeah, I almost forgot.
here we are. And that's it. GG. Wow, that is not what I expected coming in here tonight. Stork 3-0's Jaedong and moves to that final match.
I can't believe that Jaedong just got 3-0'd by Stork.
Yeah, I don't think he can
Stork
either.
is back. And I'll tell you what, guys, Jaedong was playing a really impressive late-game ZvP.
Especially considering how weird that early game was. These two really showing a lot of different strategies and like what they can do. I'm super impressed with Stork here tonight.
Yeah.
He played super solidly all 3 games.
I really love that game that we saw. That was so cool to see how Jaedong punished the fast expanding Protoss, but then Stork managed to recover. They both are trying to vie, especially the early mid game was probably the most interesting part of that game, and then the super late game, because they were both trying to get everything they needed set up, but the way that they had ended up there was insane, right? Spire super late. We had some good drops come in there from Stork, and then most of that end game did come down to Stork hiding a mineral-only base, which, I mean, you don't get that much from mineral-only bases, but it's enough to remake gateways. It's enough to make zealots.
Yeah.
If the Zerg
And
doesn't
those were
look
defending
there,
his main base while the Archons roamed. I mean,
And
it was
hey,
a good place.
he was on the high ground where that other base is, so you can't mine from that until you get rid of it, and by then it was just too late.
Yeah. A fantastic game, that one. We have been really blessed this week with KSL.
This has been a great
Great series all over the place. Unfortunately, Jaedong goes out in last place in his group. Didn't win a map this season, so it's sad.
I don't know what to say. I didn't expect this.
Yeah.
Here are our results for today. Rain 3-1 versus last in some crazy cheesy games.
Yeah.
And then a 3-0 victory for Stork over Jaedong.
Yeah. Now, Stork is a strong Protoss vs. Terran player. You know, I've seen him play a lot of great PVTs lately. I think that he can give Last a good challenge here. I think Last is probably going to be favored in that match, but who knows? Stork looking like that against Jaedong? What's he going to look like against Terran?
It's a good question. Let's see how far Stork can get in this tournament. I mean, I would love to see him actually get to the finals and see him come back to where he was once before.
Me too.
Don't laugh at me, Artos. Don't laugh at me, Artos. I'm very tired today.
I can't help it.
I'm never eating pastries again in between our commercial breaks. I've been going in and out of food coma constantly in this cast. We're going to be back on Thursday with Modesty versus Sharp and Miso versus Snow.
Oh, those are some really great matches. This week is going to be all the decider matches, right? So it's the players that are either getting second or third, some nice tight ones. Modesty Sharp, they already had a 5-game series. Miso Snow, they've already played. Miso won that one. You know, we have the underdog Zergs, and then we have the real powerhouses going up against them. It'll be interesting to see who goes forward.
Oh, I'm loving KSL. We've had some great games, and life is good. We got a cast tomorrow as well. We're going to be doing GSL Code S at 1 p.m., so if you want to join us for that on the Twitch GSL channel.
Yeah, and we're going to be wrapping up the round of 32, the final group, with TY, SOS, Ragnarok, and Special, a bunch of old Brood War players that play StarCraft 2 at the top level now. So that's going to be fun. Definitely make sure you check that out. Yeah, it's been a great week. It's been a great couple of weeks.
It has been.
So much StarCraft action out there. Of course, coming up this next weekend, there will be WCS for StarCraft 2.
That's right.
And, I mean, endless streams of StarCraft 1 and 2 all over the place.
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
There's just so much StarCraft to watch.
Yes. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We might be on air for another minute or two here as the Korean casters wrap it up, but it's been so exciting to see just like the landscape change here in KSL. I did not think there was any way Stork could 3-0 Jaedong.
Well, I certainly wasn't expecting that. I knew Stork had a chance to beat him.
Sure.
But a 3-0? Hey.
Yeah.
You're practicing hard. You're playing well. Well deserved.
And let's keep in mind that Jaedong's strategy actually worked in Game 3. You know, he gets the Nexus denied.
Yeah, yeah.
Protoss is on one base scrambling to get to 2.
It felt like he was outdoing him for a bit. I think that the turning point was actually all those Zealot drops into the back of Jaedong's main.
I think so.
You know, killing that mineral base, killing the spawning pool. It really kind of set him into a nice position.
Yeah.
And that Templar that got stuck in his main base, brilliant.
Yeah.
Those Psy Storms really helped when the drops came in.
It was like an M. Night Shyamalan moment inside the game. He was there for this one exact moment.
He was the cup
to
of water.
storm twice and then die.
Yeah.
Really cool to see Stork holding off those drops too. That's really hard late game PvZ. Mm-hmm. The trade that the Zerg can get with just Lings dropping into, you know, because the Protoss, they have to spend all their gas on Templars that storm once or twice and then die. And even if you have cannons, a Dark Swarm can come down and then Lings kill that too.
Well, yeah. Good night.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think we did it.
All righty. I think the music coming on means we can probably wrap it up. Guys, thank you again for joining us. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are.